Hey kiddos, this is a video for the second quarter EQT review. I'm really sorry, I'm sick at home with COVID, and I know that some of you are quarantined as well, so we're going to get through this the best that we can. Just please watch this video. I'm going to try to make another video to help prepare you guys for your EQT and review some of this stuff that it has been a little bit since we've done it. So watch these videos, take them to heart, watch them over and over again if you get stuck on anything on these study guides, okay? So first big topic that's going to appear on this EQT is multiplying with fractions and mixed numbers. So we should be pretty comfortable with our fraction rules at this point, but anytime you have a whole number like this 14 here, remember to put it over a 1 and then multiply across your numerators and across your denominators. So 14 times 2 is going to give me 28 up top. 1 times 7 is 7. And then always simplify. So if my numerator is larger, I'm going to end up with some wholes here, and 28 divided by 7 gives me 4 even wholes. If it's a fraction by a fraction, just multiply across the top and the bottom. So 4 times 3 is 12. 9 times 8 is 72. And then simplify this by finding a greatest common factor. In this case, it's 12. 12 goes into both 12 and 72. So you end up with 1/6. And anytime you have a mixed number, and this is whether you're multiplying or dividing, remember you've got to turn those mixed numbers back into improper fractions before you can multiply or divide with them. So we do that using that backward C, where we multiply and then add. So the whole number times the denominator, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15 up top. The denominator stays the same. For the next one, 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Denominator stays the same, and then you're ready to just multiply across the top and the bottom. So also, do not forget, on this test, you are going to be allowed to use your calculator. So even if you're at home, make sure you get a hold of a calculator. 15 times 12 is 180. 4 times 5 is 20. And then simplify that, divide the top by the bottom, and you would get 9 wholes as your final answer. Alright, our second big topic here is going to be measurement conversions, where we had to memorize how many of one thing was in how much of another thing. So we knew that 1 foot was equivalent to 12 inches. You need to know that. 1 yard equals 3 feet. 1 mile, and this was a big one that we had to learn this year, was 5,280 feet. 1 cup, this is liquid volume here, is 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 quart equals 2 pints. And 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. And then for the weight, 1 pound was 16 ounces, and 1 ton was 2,000 pounds. So you need to go back. Hopefully you still have that in your binder, but remember those, learn those, memorize those. And I say memorize because when we have problems like these, you need to know those magic numbers so you can solve it. So if I have 12 feet and I need to know how many yards that is, well, feet are actually smaller than yards, you're going to have to divide here by your magic number of 3, because there are 3 feet in 1 yard, so that's going to make 4 yards total. With tons to pounds, tons are larger than pounds, so to get a larger amount on the other end, to get a larger number on the other side, you're going to have to multiply by the magic number of 2,000, because there's 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. So 3 tons is going to be 6,000 pounds. And then again, same as this last one, you got to multiply by your magic number of 5,280. And again, please use those calculators. If I take 2.5 times 5,280, it's going to tell me that that is 13,200 feet. Woo! Okay, the third big topic here is reciprocals, and reciprocals tie in to dividing with fractions, because we have to do what we call keep, change, flip when we divide. And that flip has a very special name. That's what you call a reciprocal. It is the flip of a number. So for example here, if I have 3/4, the reciprocal of 3/4 is going to be the flip of that, which is 4/3. And even if I have a whole number, like 15, remember, whole numbers as fractions are over a 1. So if I want to flip 15 wholes, it becomes 1/15 as its reciprocal. So that's what a reciprocal is. It's that flip of a number. And we need these reciprocals when we are dividing fractions because we've got to Kentucky Chicken Fried. We've got to keep change flip every single time, which means to keep your first number here is that 2, so it's going to be a 2/1. You change the symbol to division, and then you flip to the reciprocal of the second number. So 5/8 becomes 8/5. Then you multiply across 16/5, and then simplify. So 5 goes into 16 3 whole times, with 1 left over. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Another one of these. Again, keep change flip. We're going to keep that 3/4, change to multiplication, and the flip of 9/1 is going to be 1/9. So I get 3/36, which can simplify down by dividing by 3, because that goes into both. And I get 1/12. 1/12. Okay, and last but not least, nobody's favorite, mixed numbers. You gotta make them improper before you can do anything with them. So 6 times 2 is 12 plus 1 is 13/2. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13/4. And we've still got to keep change flip and use those lovely calculators, because 13 times 4 is not one I have memorized, okay, but it is 52. So then simplify 52 divided by 26. I do happen to know that. It's 2 even. So make sure you're using those calculators, and anytime you have a mixed number, you're keep change flipping. Okay, topic number 5 are integers. Remember, we learned how to pronounce that word correctly. It is not integers. It's integers, and these include those positive and negative whole numbers, and it also includes that number 0. So we started to get on both sides of 0 on the number line with these, and we did things like taking a phrase like a 7-yard gain and writing that as a positive 7, or a withdrawal of $20 and writing that as a negative 20. So we were able to take verbal phrases and write them using positive and negative integers. And along with integers came absolute value, and that's what we learned was a distance a number is from 0 on a number line. And it was always positive. You saw me walking backwards and forwards in front of the classroom to prove to a point. It doesn't matter what direction I'm walking. If I walk 2 steps, I'm still walking 2 steps. Just like those bracelets on your wrist keep track of your steps. You can walk backwards all day, but they're still going to tell you you walk 5,000 steps. So distance is always positive. Absolute value is a distance value. So it's how far a number is from 0, and those values will always be positive, even if your integer is negative. So we see those in problems with these straight bars. So this tells me to find the absolute value of whatever's inside before I can add them together. So the absolute value of -3 would be 3, because it's 3 spaces from 0 on a number line. The absolute value of -2 is 2, because it's 2 spaces from 0. And then 3 plus 2 would be 5 as my final answer. In terms of PEMDAS, absolute value problems fall in the realm of parentheses. So you have to do that before you would do adding in this case. Topic number 7 is the coordinate plane. You need to know all parts, all quadrants, all axes. Okay, so the horizontal axis, okay, that goes this way, left and right. That is our x-axis. The vertical one is your y-axis. Remember, the quadrants start Q1 over here, Q2, quadrant 3. Remember, they go counterclockwise. So you guys need to know what your quadrants are. And remember, this point in the center here is where it is 0, 0. That is your origin. And always, every coordinate, your x coordinate is going to come before your y coordinate. So you got to know all that stuff, as well as reflections. And you will have some practice questions on that. But just remember, a reflection is just a mirror image of a point, and it's going to jump over one of those axes. So just pay attention. If it says to flip it over the x, you flip it over the x. If it says flip it over the y, you flip it over the y. All right? Topic number 8, PEMDAS. We just got through with this. So parentheses would come first here. So I would do my parentheses. Remember, bring everything else down. Slow and steady with these. Win the race. So now, always do them from left to right. So in this case, the division comes before multiplication, and because they can go out of order, you would have to do the division next, followed by the multiplication at the end. Again, calculators, calculators, calculators. And then finally adding, we would get 73? Okay, so one step at a time with those and follow your order of operations. PEMDAS. Algebraic expressions. Again, this is something that we have recently done. This is a more complicated one I chose to put on here because remember, there's 2 operations happening. This really means 16 times p squared. So the p is what is being squared here, not the 16. The last step is going to be to multiply times 16. But remember, when you're squaring something, if the value here is 1/4, to square it means to take it times itself. So 1/4 times 1/4 is actually going to be 1/16. And guess what? What do you get when you multiply a number times its reciprocal? You get 1. You get 16 over 16, which is equal to 1. So pay attention on that. Remember, that coefficient, that number that's being multiplied times the variable, it is not being squared. The variable is what is being squared here. So just be very careful with that one. Topic 10, simplifying expressions. We briefly talked about this, but anything that is a like term, when we call them a like, it means they're either both constants or they have the same variable. So in this first example, they all have different coefficients, but they all have the same variable x. So I could simplify this expression by adding up all those coefficients and putting it in front of an x. So 3 plus 2 plus 5, 3 plus 2 plus 6 is 11, so that would be 11x. That's a simplified version of that. So in the second one, these two are alike, but there is nothing alike with that y. All I can do here to simplify is combine the x-like terms and then just attach the y to it. So being able to simplify these terms by finding things that are alike and shortening it down. We wrote those big problems on the board and found all the things that were alike and combined them. Same deal. So simplifying expressions. And last but not least, those 4 properties. Make sure you know those. Most of you did very well on that test, but keep studying those because those can be easily confused with one another from time to time. And again, the distributive property is another good one that can be used to simplify expressions. So to distribute means to take what's outside parentheses and multiply it in. So this would become 28x plus 20y as an equivalent expression. So know those properties backwards and forwards, and you guys will do fine, okay? Just make sure you study. Study. And Monday we'll do another study guide before the test on Tuesday. Make sure you are really working through those review ones today. Just do your best. Keep looking at this video. Look at the one I'll make for Monday. And I promise, you guys know this. We spent enough time together. If you've really been paying attention in class, you guys got this. I know you are. So, love you all. Miss you all. Wish I could be there. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. And I cannot wait to see you guys again. Have a great weekend.